Right now, new at 6. Tonight, the Democratic National Convention reaches its pinnacle with Vice President Kamala Harris set to address the nation in prime time. Our crew covering the Democratic National Convention in Chicago and Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is now back home here in Louisville. And here at 6, our Isaiah Kim Martinez and senior photojournalist Alyssa Newton are getting reaction today from top Kentucky Republicans, both to Beshear's DNC speech and his choice not to attend an annual tradition today at the Kentucky State Fair.
The Country Ham Breakfast in Louisville, a tradition that draws in Kentucky's top politicians, was missing its chief executive.
1,500, 1,600 people there. Governor's not here. He's at the convention.
Kentucky Republicans, including former Secretary of State Trey Grayson, taking notice.
That's one of the risks of doing all this national is you take yourself away from your constituents, from your people.
All week, Governor Andy Beshear's attention has been in Chicago for the Democratic National Convention, where he spoke in prime time ahead of President Biden on Monday.
In Kentucky, we put reproductive freedom on the ballot last November, and I beat Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell's hand-picked candidate by more than 5 percentage points.
Kentucky House Speaker David Osborne, a Republican, watched Beshear's address.
He certainly fine-tuned his skills as a speaker and was speaking to a friendly crowd. And even in the heat of the conversation about him being a potential VP candidate, it really, while it creates noise, it really doesn't impact us legislatively.
State Senator Robbie Mills says it left more to be desired.
He could have talked about a lot of more things than just abortion, and I was sorry to see him just focusing in on that one particular issue.
Beshear put his biggest focus on reproductive rights, a major driver of voters to the polls.
That certainly is a major issue.
State Senator Gerald Neal, a Louisville Democrat, weighing in.
And he was talking to a national audience, not just Kentucky, and Kentucky was an example.
Beshear was introduced on stage by Owensboro native and abortion rights advocate Hadley Duvall.
A leader who's fought for me and for so many others. Governor Andy Beshear.
She sat down for an interview with me in Chicago.
He has never, not one time, showed that he doesn't have his best interest for women.
It was the governor's biggest national appearance to date, but where does it lead him?
You have said that a cabinet position in D.C. is not your intention.
Off the table.
A potential run for president in 2028 has gotten more complicated. Here's some of Beshear's interview with me in Chicago.
I think we're going to elect Kamala Harris as our president. I think she's going to be up for re-election in 2028.
But the question becomes, how do you stay relevant? And he's term limited here. He had this window, which I think is why he pursued it so aggressively. It's just not clear to me what that pathway looks like, whether it's a national level or a state level.
Many experts saying this race between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump is essentially a dead heat. Experts have also said that after tonight, the scrutiny on Vice President Harris, her policies and her performance in interviews will intensify. Meanwhile, her opponent, former President Donald Trump, is taking a trip to the border. He's traveling to Arizona, a battleground state, to campaign on immigration. This is his 4th trip to battleground states this week, trying to take some of the attention away from the Democrats' convention, Doug.
Well, the national spotlight, the real rush for Andy Beshear, of course, started right after the Sunday after President Joe Biden pulled himself out of the race. He told you off the table for a cabinet position. Mm-hmm. So what are we talking about here? Could he actually run for governor again if he sits it out for a little bit?
It was interesting. Trey Grayson, the former Secretary of State, actually said it's not out of the question constitutionally for Beshear to take a break, obviously term limited right now, from 27 to 31, and then potentially, if he would want to, run for that position again.
He can do it.
He can do it, according to Trey Grayson. I've been trying to text some others, but he knows his stuff.
Yeah, former Secretary of State. All right, Isaiah, thank you very much.